Hi everyone, it's Melissa from mailscardcorner.com. A few days ago I posted a video of a 5x7 DIY mini album I had created, and several people reached out and asked if I could please share a video when I had all my matting and decorating done. That being said, I'm not a huge decorator. I'm not a scrapbooker actually. I've never made a scrapbook. Well, I made a scrapbook back in the 80s. Was it 1980, I think, in fact? Whatever year Princess Diana and Prince Charles got married, I scrapbooked their engagement and wedding because I was a teenager and in love with all things royal family, and so I scrapbooked their engagement and wedding. But I have never scrapbooked since. So, but that being said, I have found I really love the process of making these mini albums. I think it appeals to the techie engineering side of my brain. So anyway, as I said, several people reached out and asked me if I could please share my finished album once I had matted and decorated. So that's what we're going to do today. So for this album, I have used a collection from Graphic 45 from a couple of years ago called Ephemera Queen. I think it is still available. At least parts of it may still be available on their website. I don't know if the full collection is. I did have the full collection. So I had the 12x12 collector's pack, which included a couple of sticker sheets. I had the chipboard elements. I had the 12x12 patterns and solids. And I had the die cuts, which I didn't use any of the die cuts. I had the journaling cards, which I did use. And I had the 8x8 paper pack, which I did use some of that. Some of the 12x12s, given this is a 5x7 album, I thought the patterns on some of the 12x12s were a bit too large, the scale of them. So the 8x8 paper pad was great for that. So I could use that same beautiful print I wanted, but it's just in a slightly smaller scale. So for the cover, this is actually one of the journaling cards. So I love this beautiful Parisian lady. This yellow rose I fussy cut from one of the pieces of patterned paper and then just kind of inked around the edges. And then this is one of the chipboard elements. I did do a wrapped spine. These are some of the 12x12 papers from the collection pack, and this border, I believe, was also from the collection pack, which I thought was a pretty little element since it had kind of this lacy detail to tie those pages together. Then coming around onto the spine, this is actually from the sticker sheet, the Eiffel Tower element. So I just matted it on some black cardstock and fussy cut around that and adhered that to the spine. I don't know why it looks crooked. I'm looking at it in person, it's not crooked, but for some reason it looks crooked to me in my display. So, and then coming on around to the back, I used the same paper here that I used on the front just for some continuity, but did use a different border piece back here, so to tie everything in together. So yeah, I'm really happy with how the cover came out. I like it. Okay, so now, starting on the inside, on this front area, I have just a pocket, which I believe I showed in my first video, and I love this paper. Again, I just went around all of the edges. I used an ink blending tool and vintage photo distress ink and just around all the edges. And I discovered, by the way, I can't remember what this is called. I think it's a glue lounger. It's designed to hold your glue upside down like that. But I found when I was ink blending on my pages, it worked great to hold my ink blending tool. I got this on Etsy from Make It by Marco. I have quite a few of her things. Another favorite I have is her little brush holder, and I added a little Lazy Susan on the bottom of mine that I got from Amazon for, I don't know, $4 I think. And so I don't know if you'll be able to see, but yeah, so now it spins. Anyway, I highly recommend Rebecca's products. Again, she's Make It by Marco, and I'll try and remember to link her in the description as well. But yeah, so on this pocket, I just added a couple of, these are the 4x6 journaling cards. And this is actually the front and the back of the same card. The journaling pack includes 2 of each card. So I thought that was a nice way to kind of make these fit together. And then on the back, you could put 4x6 photos. And then I also just tucked in one of the 3x4s. I didn't mat it or anything, but you've got room for journaling on the back there as well. This piece, I created a little tuck point, and that is, again, from the sticker sheet. And again, just matted it on some black cardstock and fussy cut it. Now, here's an example of where I used the 8x8 paper. This is what it looks like on the 12x12, this particular pattern. When I had both of them there, it just really kind of jumped into your face. It just was really, really big. And so I thought using the slightly smaller one here kind of broke things up a little bit. And so the 8x8 was a great option there. And here I have just a photo mat. I added this chipboard at the top. Colored the back of it with a Sharpie marker just so it kind of all matched up. But you have room for a 3x4 photo here and a 3x5 on the back. And then, oh, and I just added some black and white baker's twine up there to finish off the tag. And then again, just one of the 3x4 journaling cards. This opens up. And again, here I have just one of the 4x6 journaling cards. I love that saying, life is nothing without passion. And because this was a little bit longer than what a 4x6 would fit, I just added a little strip of decorative paper at the bottom to kind of fill that space. Then here again, we have another one of the 3x4 cut aparts, which I trimmed down just a little bit so I could mat it on a little bit of green, because it was almost a little too small for this flap, because it wasn't quite 3x4. It was like 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. And so it left a little bit more black border than I wanted. So I trimmed it down slightly, rounded the corners, then rounded the corners of the little flap. And so I think that turned out really cute. Then again, I used, whoops, knocking things over. Sorry about that. I used the back side of this card for this side. And I did the same thing. I trimmed it down a little and put it on that same green from the solids and patterns. Over here we have, I'm about to knock more things over. Hang on. There we go. A little pocket. And I didn't mat these or anything. These are just as they came out of the journaling pack. So we have a 4x6 here, which has a lot of great journaling space, and then a little 3x4. And I just thought the colors kind of went nicely with everything else going on this spread. So that is that. And then it opens again. And this wasn't part of the original album design, but I added a little belly band tuck point and put in a couple of 3x5 mats for photos. On this side, you could certainly add a photo as well, or journaling or anything like that. I didn't include a tuck point, but you could certainly adhere things down on that side. Oh, I was about to close it. Then these are all pocket pages, so I have a little insert here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. I used a slimline border die to add a decorative edge to that to make it a little more obvious that there is an insert in there. There we go. And then I did that on all three. And so what I did to make sure these all lined up the same is, after I cut the first one, when I got ready to cut the second one, I lined the 2 pieces of paper together and lined the die up against the edge of this one, then taped the die down, and then just pulled that one out. So that way all of my edges match exactly. This is the back half of this first page. This is all one signature. And I will say, if I were doing this again, I might leave out one of these flips because I feel like it kind of makes this first signature a little bulky, especially when compared to the second one. See how much smaller that one is? And then this one is pretty bulky. So I might revisit that. But that being said, this design for this album is amazing. I really love the layout Carolina came up with. I hope it's Carolina. It could be Carolina, I suppose. It is. Her name is spelled with a K, which makes me think it's probably Carolina, but I don't remember for sure. But anyway, this is based on a design she created that I tweaked a little bit. So anyway, oh, and I forgot to mention I put decorative elements in between all the signatures here. So on this spread, on this side, this opens up, this opens down. Here we have a little pocket. And I've just got a couple of little things tucked in there. I did add a little strip in the back just to make it clear this was a pocket, because with the black on black, it was really hard to see that it was a pocket and not just a flap. So anyway, I just made a simple tag. I have the We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper that has the angle and the photo stub. So I just used the angle for that, and then just used a 1/8 inch hole punch to add a hole, and then used my Project Life corner rounder to round the bottom corners, and then just added a little journal card on that, or with that, I should say. It's not on it. And so those just tuck right down in there. I'm probably going to add some baker's twine to that as well. I forgot to do that before the video. And then in here, I just put in a couple of photo mats. You could probably fit several more in here, but I did one 4x6 and one 3x5. And on my mats, these are cut a 1/4 inch larger. So this is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. This is 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. And that's the same on all my mats throughout. So, but that's enough for, 4 pictures. And like I said, you could easily put more in there as well. And then again, on any of these spots, you could add little pieces of paper with journaling or anything like that. Oops, that goes in first, and then that comes down. And again, magnetic closure here. I forgot to mention like magnetic closures here as well, but I assume you heard the clicks. On this side, we have a really cute little waterfall. This is another addition I made that was not in the original design. I added a little magnetic flap to keep the waterfall closed. In Carolina's video, hers were staying down really nicely, and mine are doing better now, but initially they were popping up pretty far. And when I was turning pages, they were kind of flopping around. So I decided I wanted to add a little magnetic flap just to keep them secure when not using them. So, but here, this is one of the 3x4 journaling cards. Again, it was a little bit smaller than what my waterfall is. So I trimmed it down, and then these pieces, I believe they're the 3x4. Yeah. So I trimmed this down a 1/4 inch on, or 1/8 of an inch on all the sides, and then matted it on a 3x4. Or a 1/16 of an inch. Because again, these were like 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. So anyway, I'm digressing. The sad part is, by adding this magnetic closure, it does hide part of that card. You can at least still see all of the quote, but you don't see the shoe until it's open, but I'm okay with that. And then all I did for the waterfall was I alternated between greens and yellows. I was wanting to pull in the yellows from the flowers and the green from the leaves. And so where I had a green mat, I used a yellow decorative, and then did the opposite. So when I had yellow mats, I did the green decorative. And that's the same throughout the waterfall. And yes, I am just crazy enough. I added a couple of little 1/8 inch strips on either side. And that was mainly to pull in more of this blue and the blue here. And the black edging was just a little bit more, it felt a little jarring. So that just helped tone that down a little bit. And then behind the waterfall, we have another pocket. And so I just have a one of the 4x6 journaling cards. And then I used a couple of the small little round stickers that matched to add a little pull element. And that also helps make it obvious that there is something more there. Why is that not going all the way down in? What's it getting caught on? There we go. And again, pocket page. So I have another insert here. I was running out of this really pretty paper because I miscut a few things. So I just had to use the yellow solid, but it is a textured, oops, little schmutz there. It is a textured solid at least, so it's not completely flat, but I would have preferred if I could have had the same paper on both sides, but that's all right. Okay, now we're at the back of the second signature, so our third spread. Here again, we have one of the 3x4 journaling cards that I've trimmed down and matted on some of the patterns and solids paper. Magnetic closure here. And that opens up to this little spread. And again, I have just a loose 4x6 and 3x5 photo mat in there. I love that huge Eiffel Tower on this piece of paper. Oh, love it, love it, love it. This is probably where I will actually, because the trip I took to Europe, we visited like 7 or 8 different countries while we were over there. I went with my best friend and her parents and some other friends. But this is the page I will probably use for our stop in Paris. And then on this side, we have a tall pocket. And so again, I just created a large tag. This tag topper I created using a punch I found on Amazon. Let me grab it real quick. It is from Bira Crafts, I believe. Is there a name on it somewhere? Yeah, Bira. And so it will cut 3 different, it will cut the same shape, but it looks different depending upon the width. And so you just line up the width with these little alignment guides. So it will do a 1.5, a 2, or a 2.5. So this is the 2.5. So you get like the full effect of all the little scallops. But I thought that was really clever to have all that in one punch. And as you can see, a 2.5-inch tag that's a pretty substantial size tag. So you could fit a 2x2 photos on the front and on the back. So if you had just like some little small things you want, that will be great. And then again, just added a journaling card so you can document all those memories. Put that out of the way. So that is that spread. Then again, on this side is another deviation I did from the original. On the original, this is just an open page. I added a tall side pocket just to have a place to tuck more things. So here I have a couple of 3x5 photo mats. You could easily fit more. Another journaling card and another journaling card. I'd love that. When wisdom begins in wonder. Love that. So plenty of spaces there to document memories. Then this opens up and opens up. Now I didn't put anything here, but again, you could certainly do a little belly band here to tuck things, or you could do like I did here and create a little tuck point in the corner to tuck things, or just adhere a journaling page down. And that's true on these as well. But I just left them open for now. Here we have a vertical belly band, where before I had done a horizontal. And again, here we have one of the journaling cards. This one I did trim down. It was a 4x6. And so you can fit a 3x5 photo on the back. Again, here for 3x5 photos. And then here, I wanted to include this lady because I just thought she was so cool with all her hat boxes and her poodle. And then again, you could fit a 3x4 photo on the back. So as you can see, you got plenty of room, or you've got plenty of room, not you got, you've got plenty of room for photos in this little album. And here is our final insertion or insert in the pocket page. And this time I used the red version of that paper. I tried to keep these colors to kind of match what I was doing on the spread before it. So here I had a lot of pinks and reds, so I used the red. On this one, I had a lot of yellows, so I used the yellow. And on this first one, I felt like I had a lot of blues going on, so I used the blue there. And those were the only 3 colors that had, I mean, this print was only in those 3 colors, I think. So I just tried to match my layouts to use those particular sheets for my inserts. Okay, and so now we're on to the final page. And this is a little booklet that pops open, and you've got room for 3x4 cards here. And then it also pops up with a magnet. And so you've got room. You could do 4x4 cards here or journaling. Here we have another spot where you could do a 4x4. And here. Whew. This is hard to fit all this in the screen. And again, here I just added a couple of loose photo mats in that page. You could certainly do a belly band if you want to contain them a little more, but since this is a magnet closure, I was fine with leaving them loose. And then here's the back cover, which, as you can see, is a duplicate of the front cover. I didn't change anything, used the same papers. I just thought it was a nice way to bookend, pardon the pun, the book. And then in here, I've just tucked a few things. We've got a journaling card. And even though it's a horizontal card, I thought it worked fine just tucking it in there vertically. And then I have, just one 3x5 photo mat. This cute little Eiffel Tower journaling card. Oh, this was a cut apart. Sorry. This was not a journaling card because it doesn't have the postcard on the for journaling on the back. So this was a cut apart. Oh, and in fact, where did I use the lady with the hat box? In here, I think. Yeah, she was also actually a cut apart, which is why I mounted her on the black cardstock. Yeah. Oops, wrong way. And then just one more pretty little journaling card that I thought, was nice to bring in the yellow a little bit. And you've got journaling space on both sides. So that is it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this project share. If you did, please leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought. And I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their weekend. Bye-bye.